All right, what is up, everybody? Divine Hood here, coming at you with a daily update on Bitcoin. I will also real quickly cover Ethereum in this video. Let's just jump into it. Okay, so yesterday, in my video yesterday, I talked about this price action here and how it was really low volume and it looked more like corrective price action to me rather than the bottom being in, and that we most likely come down to make new lows because this was real corrective looking for me. If we go into the volume and we look at the volume here, we can see how corrective this price action was, and we can see that it was just a weakened range that we were forming. Also, what told me that this could be a correction before a new low was made is we did do the SFP here, the swing failure pattern. We grabbed the liquidities from Friday. As soon as we grabbed the liquidity, we started dumping pretty aggressively and we broke our local golden pocket from this low to this high here. We came down to the 886. And remember, I talk about this a lot. Anytime you come down to those 886s like that, you have a higher probability to continue the dump to the downside. Let me hide this channel real quick. I'm going to go into that in a second. And let me get rid of this now. So yesterday we had come from the lows that we made, our last prior lows here, about here. We came up to the high and we came into our 886. Let's see, 886. And actually, we should be taking it from this high here. So you can see we broke our 886 and we were seeing a bounce yesterday, a little bit of a bounce. Anytime you come down to the 886, we made a bounce yesterday. You can expect us to eventually come out to take those lows here. Now, earlier today, overnight, actually, we started dumping and we continued the dump down. Just this morning, we made new lows here. And let me turn off this volume for just a second. So all of this weekend price action, I just want to emphasize, was on low volume. It looked like corrective price action. This morning, we came down. We finally hit into our daily, our 98.8K daily. And we hit into our major 382 from the last big impulsive push up, our third wave of what we could have called a different impulse that we were looking at. And we are seeing a pretty strong bounce on this. Another thing I want to point out, and I was pointing this out live real time in the Discord before it happened, and I should have showed you guys this yesterday, but I've had this bearish pitchfork on my chart for a couple days now. I think I made it on Thursday or Friday. And we did see, I'm going to hide this here. We did see us drop. We rejected on that SFP that we had last night. We rejected from the midline here. We came down all the way to the bottom of the pitchfork and we bounced perfectly from the bottom of the pitchfork. Now this pitchfork is a more bearish, this is a bearish based pitchfork based off bearish price action. So I took it from the all-time high to our first low that we made in this range, and then up to I guess this would be like the end of the A wave up to the B wave here. This is not the end of the A wave, this is, but anyways, this is our bearish pitchfork. You can see how well it's been respected. The lower band of the pitchfork was holding its support during these three lows in here. We came up to the midline, rejected after bouncing from the band, rejected from the midline, chopped sideways for the weekend, had the rejection, the SFP rejection, rejected from the midline, and this morning we dropped all the way to the bottom of the pitchfork. We saw a perfect bounce from the bottom of the pitchfork, and now we're chopping around in this channel again, the lower band again. So let me zoom in on this here real quickly. I also did emphasize yesterday, you guys, in yesterday's video, that the majority of our liquidity was below us, not above us, and liquidity acts like a magnet. You know, this market runs off liquidity. So I was suggesting that we could make new lows because the liquidity was below us. If we come look at this liquidity heat map, we finally did take out all that liquidity that was down there. And now the majority of our liquidity is just above these at this the highs that we made yesterday, the swing failure pattern highs that we made yesterday. We have some liquidity up there. So what can we expect now? We came into a major support of the pitchfork and we came into our major 382 and our daily level here. We still haven't made it to our ABC correction target down at 87,340, which I do still think is a valid target. But this could be a bottom, or this could be the start of a bigger bounce first. And the reason why I want to talk about that is if we go to this chart here, and I'm going to zoom in onto the 12-minute chart here. And let's go ahead and turn the volume back on here. Let's see, where am I looking at here? Okay, so if we turn on the volume, You can see that when we came into this low this morning, we came into it with pretty big red volume spike, but then immediately we got a really big bounce to the upside, a really aggressive bounce to the upside. And we had some pretty high volume on this push up, much higher than the surrounding volume, even about the same height as this last push up that we had. And you can see the last time we had a green spike like that, we got a decent push up. We had a green spike, we got a decent push up. Now, if this is the start of an impulsive structure here from the bottom of the pitchfork, and this is one of the reasons why I'm saying this is because it is a major 382 and it's the bottom of a key pitchfork, bearish pitchfork that's been highly, highly respected. So if a pitchfork's been highly respected like this, we can look at the bottom being a bigger support level where we could see a bounce. Even if we come back up to take these highs and then come back down to 87.3, I do think it's possible to come up to these highs. If we look at this as wave one, this push up here is like wave one of an impulse. So if we go into our Elliott impulse waves, and let's just say this was wave one here, our wave two, and then we could see an aggressive wave three to take those highs, a 4, and then a 5 up to maybe our anchored VWAP, which is a very important level to backtest. One of the reasons I'm speculating this could be a corrective wave, the start of an impulsive wave here, and then we could be in a wave 2 now. So let's zoom in on real low time frames here. Let's go to the 6-minute chart, and let's look at our first bounce here of this impulse up here. So if we turn on the trend-based Fibonacci extinction, and that is going to be going from the low of 1 to the high of 1 to the low of 2. No, excuse me. I'm sorry. This is to see where our B wave target is. And so after an impulsive wave like this is our first impulsive wave. We can expect a corrective wave to the downside in wave 2, and then another third most explosive impulse to the upside. So one way we can measure our correction targets is we can go from the high of wave 1 down to this little here, this little low that we made intraday here, and then up to the top of our target so far, the top of our price action so far. And you can see our 1-to-1 Fibonacci extinction if this is an ABC correction. So often after you get impulsive price action, we got our impulse to the upside, you'll see a 3-wave correction to the downside, and then you'll explode up in our 3rd wave. So I'm looking for a 3-wave correction to the downside for this micro ABC correction that we might be seeing. So how do we measure the target to the downside? You can go from high to low to high. We look at our 1-to-1 target. That is our, say this is a mini ABC correction here. We are going to be looking for our 1-to-1 target. So we have our A wave here, our B wave here, and then our C wave would come down to our 1-to-1 target. Let's do a golden pocket pull from our lows that we made today to our highs that we just made, and let's turn on our golden pocket here. Let's see the confluence. We've got really good confluence. So our 1-to-1 target is right in alignment with our local golden pocket retrace. Now we did make a higher high. We broke the market structure on local timeframes, so we can expect a higher low to come in and then another impulse to the upside. We also had the volume supporting this push to the upside as a possible impulse. So we want to look at this higher low coming up here at about 90.5 to 90.6K as the third, a micro ABC correction after a first wave impulse, and then we might be able to go higher. So right now locally, and look how low this volume is in this whole, since this pump ended here, the entire day, this is very low volume that we're creating here. And right now we are kind of just trading in like this little, let me get rid of that one. That's no longer valuable. All right, so let me get rid of this little ABC now, and let's just zoom in here and let's look at this correction that this price action that we've been in for a few hours here. So if we do a channel, a rising channel here, we can go from low to the low, and let's bring it up to the first highs. You can see now this small channel has hit 3 times on the highs, pretty much to the dollar, and we have our 2 touches on the bottom. We're just chopping within this channel, which could be the B wave of a micro ABC correction. We could see our A, B, C down to the 90.5, and then we could see a push up if this is going to be a higher low on the charts here and then continue higher. So our correction could have finished with tapping into the bottom of the pitchfork and tapping into the more macro 382, and it was also our daily level. We should be watching for this level to hold as support. When we come into this level, we're going to be want to be seeing bullish divergences between this low and the low that will be created. So between this low here and the possible low here, we want to see our momentum waves on lower time frames. We don't have enough time for high time frame divs here. But if we go into like our 5 minute and under, we're going to want to be seeing bullish divs on market cipher B. We also want to see money flow. Look at our money flow is curving nicely to the upside now. We could see a push up here. I would want to see it dip down. And so we could maybe do something like this and make a local bull div where we see this, and then we would be seeing some bull div like here on lower time frames. All right, so that's what I'd kind of be looking for on local time frames if this is going to hold and be a higher low. I still do think our 87.3 target is a major target we need to be watching here. But for now, we are hitting a major support. We did see a really aggressive reaction off of our support. And then right now, this corrective price action that we're seeing now is low volume. It looks like corrective price action. If we do come down to here, we also want to check our CVD divs here. So if we do come down to those levels, that 90.5 to 90.6K area, okay, let me go to this one. Then we're going to be wanting to see bullish CVD divs between the low that we made earlier today and our higher low. So we want to see price action making higher lows here and our CVD making lower lows. So far from this low here, you can already see we're on the verge of forming some bullish CVD already. If we do come down to that golden pocket and our CVD indicator is making lower lows and our price action is making higher lows, we can see some bullish absorption at our local C wave correction of this ABC here. And it's also our local golden pocket retrace. We could look for a long. Obviously, if you long this golden pocket, your stop is going to go below this low, because if we start breaking this low again, then your plan is wrong and you need to get out. But for now, that's the local level I'm looking for. We might just pump from here, but because we are still just chopping within this band now. You can see this little band of support between this light green line and the dark green line. We're kind of just chopping around in here in the band around the VWAP. So let's just watch to see how this plays out. This is the local level of support I'm watching. If we do break this level and like the 786 as well, so I'd do like this whole level, this kind of purple box of support within here. If we break this, then most likely we're coming for these lows, if not 87.3K. So that's what I'm watching for locally on Bitcoin right now. All right, let's go to Ethereum real quick. Ethereum did make some really interesting price action earlier today. Last time I talked about Ethereum, I marked out a couple key major boxes of support, and let's turn those on here. So I had, not that one. Okay, so this was the box that I was looking at, and it was our golden pocket, our pitchfork bottom, which you can see. Now, look at where we bottomed out here. Let me turn this off real quick one more time so we can see what we're looking at. I had marked out this naked weekly point of control in the last video, and I did talk about this level, this general box of support that this box here being a major support level, and I even said we could pull it as one box, but I kind of didn't like that. But we had the bottom of our pitchfork, which is this blue ascending line here. We had our naked weekly point of control. We had our anchored VWAP, which you can see we wick below the anchored VWAP, but we're not even closing 4-hour candles below it. And we had our golden pocket, which was a really nice golden pocket you can see that we're at right now. So this was a major support level in this box that I was talking about. Golden pocket. It was also, I do believe there's a value area low close by there. But anyways, this was a major box of support. We wicked down, touched pretty much to the dollar, our naked weekly point of control in the bottom of our pitchfork, and we saw a nice bounce to the upside so far. If this box doesn't hold, we do have more major support below us, and actually this is like the real big level. So if I zoom out here, let's go on to the daily chart. All right, I know this looks very hectic here, so let me kind of get rid of some of this stuff here. Our next major level of support is this more macro golden pocket here about 28.23 to 28.50, 28.60-ish. So it is below our naked weekly point of control. But in this box here, we have the more macro golden pocket, and we have it as major levels here. So it's also, depending on how quick we get to it, if it takes a while, we have our big peach trend line there, which is our trend line for the entire bull market, this last big push up on the bull market. We have our one-to-one correction target there, which is if kind of the same ABC. So A wave here, a B wave here, and our C wave down to the bottom, just like Bitcoin's kind of in a possible ABC. If Ethereum is as well, we have our one-to-one ABC correction target. We have our more macro golden pocket here. And then it's also a major support resistance flip on the daily. You can see resistance, support, 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 resistance, 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 resistance. So now if we come down to this box here, it's also support. But in the meantime, until we lose the lows that we took today, we did hit a macro low here, a major support as well, where we're at right now, with hitting into the naked weekly point of control, and it's also the bottom of our pitchfork. Now, this pitchfork is a bullish pitchfork, and you can see the last time we hit into the midline twice, we rejected perfect from the midline. We were holding the band for this whole range through Christmas and New Year's. Pumped up, we rejected from our point of control, and then we dropped to the bottom of the pitchfork. So this pitchfork is a really nice respected pitchfork. You can see it's been respected to the dollar here, the band to the dollar here. I mean, we've had a lot of respect on this pitchfork. So we did hit into the pitchfork support and the naked weekly point of control. We might see a bounce to the upside like with Bitcoin. If we zoom in here onto the 4-hour chart, we are not seeing any bull divs here, and that is concerning, and money flow is kind of still curving to the downside. That tells me we might be able to make a small bounce here and then maybe come one more time if we see like a small bounce here like this, and then come down into this level here, and then see our big push up. And that would allow our market cipher B here to kind of, maybe we can bottom and then see a little a less momentum wave, a less deep momentum wave, and that would give us our bull divs here, lower low in price action, higher low in the momentum waves, and then we could see that push up. So that's kind of what I'm looking for on Ethereum. We could be bottoming out right now on Ethereum. If Bitcoin decides to roll over, Ethereum's going to roll over as well. If Bitcoin does go to 87.3, then we can watch Ethereum. We can watch this area here, this next purple box. If it is going to pump from now, we do have that local SFP that I talked about in the last video. We can come up to here and SFP this 33.85 high into the pitchfork band and reject from the pitchfork band again. Or we also do have our naked daily point of control. This will take some time to happen. So say we kind of do something like this, chop for a while, maybe come up here, make a higher low. And then by the time we come up to our naked daily point of control, it's going to be in alignment with the top of our band, and we could reject from there. So that's going to be an area to be watching. Now we got to repull this 786 because we made new lows. So this is no longer, this is going to be our new pull from here. And you can see the 786 is also in alignment really nice with the top of the band as well. So we do have this area here. And then, yeah, I guess what I would do is delete this smaller one here. And I would probably move this to like one big box here. Our 786 is there. Our naked daily point of control, and the top of our band is there. So that is a local resistance to be watching. These highs are going to be important to take now because this was our last high before this last big impulse, smaller time frame impulse to the downside. We finally did come for these lows here. So next major support is right below us. We are hitting also a major support right now. This general area, I almost made it into one big box in yesterday's video. I just didn't like it. I would rather take it as two trades. And our local levels of resistance above us is the swing failure pattern. We could even move this to now here. And that is kind of a big wick, though, if we did swing fail that. But we saw big wicks. Like, look at this wick here. That's a big wick. We've seen wicks that big before. But a swing failure pattern into the bottom of the pitchfork band at like 3,400 would be nice. I would only take that is if we hit into the band and close like a 15-minute candle or below. At the candle body has to be closed at or above the swing failure pattern, because if we don't confirm the swing failure pattern, we're probably going higher. Now we could also do another fib pull on this, and we could look from high to low. Let's look at our golden pocket. And our golden pocket also would be, if it takes some time, which it will take some time to pump up there, our golden pocket would be in alignment there with the bottom of the band as well. So it would be nice to see maybe something like this, a range start to form. Oftentimes at the bottom of a major move, you'll start to form a range first, and then you'll get your big impulse to the upside, break local market structure. That is something we could be watching as well. That is going to take some time because this is a 4-hour chart. So say it's going to take all the way till Sunday to, if timing wise, for this to really align. So for the week, we could start to form a range down in this area, find a local bottom, and then pump higher. It is still a big probability to come down to this bigger support resistance box, which is also our 1-to-1 target, our more macro golden pocket. So that's things I'd be looking for there. Let's look at naked daily points of control here on Ethereum. I think we did have no new ones when I checked it yesterday. Okay, so you can also see we have a naked daily point of control up within this golden pocket. So 3,400 to 3,452 is going to be a major box of support, resistance, excuse me, a major box of resistance up in this area here. And then we've also got a resistance above us at the 786, the naked daily point of control, in the top of the band. We are forming a naked daily POC right now. This is for today's candle, so it hasn't closed yet today, and we're just gonna have to see how this plays out. But earlier today, Bitcoin was in one, and I was looking at it. Even though the daily candle didn't close, we did hit into our naked daily point of control, and we pumped from it a bit. So even though the candle hasn't closed, it still somewhat gets respected. That was right here, and if we zoom in here onto like the 12-minute time frame, you can see that when we came into it, we did bounce from it. Okay, it's changed a little bit. It was right about 92.2 or 91.2. So that's what we're looking at now. It looks like Bitcoin is seeing a small push up right now. I would just be careful with this. This could also be, we just need to watch locally now to see what happens locally. Ideally, we want to see a range form and start to see some sort of support. We could do a golden pocket pull from the high that we made yesterday on the swing failure pattern to the low. It looks like we did front run that golden pocket just barely. So we might come up, swing fail the intraday highs that we made earlier today, these intraday highs here, into our golden pocket, and then see the move down to our 1-to-1 correction target. And in that case, actually that wouldn't really be it could be a flat wave, but that would really invalidate a little bit of our ABC, our local ABC correction. So let's look at that. Let's actually turn that channel back on. All right, looks like we are starting to break that channel to the upside. I would want to close the 5 or 6 minute candle above that channel though. And then I would be looking for this area here, this golden pocket. If we don't reject from the golden pocket, we're coming much higher. We might even come up to take these highs here. We do have, okay, let me zoom out here again. Let me get rid of this local price action that we're looking at. And I do want to talk about this pink line here is our major weekly log channel that I showed you guys in yesterday's video. And you can see the back test now that we're breaking back into the channel. If we do come up to this area here, it is our anchored VWAP as well. So we do need to be watching that area. Let's see if there's any fib levels that align. So we'll do a new fib level from our low, our high to our low. And yeah, the golden pocket's right above that, you guys. So this box of resistance up here is definitely going to be a box we want to be paying attention to here. Because this, if we do bounce and come up to this level, and then we could drop back down to 87K, it is possible that this is the bottom where we're at now, but it is also possible that we just do something like come up to here and then come down here and then start our bigger move up to the upside. So let's just be watching these things over the next day or two. We could do the fixed range volume profile of this lower range. And yeah, our value area high is up there as well, you guys. So there's a lot of confluence in this box up here. Our point of control is going to be around our local golden pocket. Let's see that again. So if we go from the highs of yesterday, that swing failure pattern, to the lows, and let's do our 786 then. So our 786, our local 786 is in alignment with our POC of the range since December 24th. So that could be a possible rejection area as well. A few levels to be watching. I'll try to keep you guys updated in the Discord and Jason Casper's Discord. I'm part of the Casper crew. That's where I post on the daily. I let people know updates all the time. And let's just keep an eye out on it. I'm going to be traveling a bit today, be a bit busy, so I'll try to keep you guys updated. But anyways, have a good day. I hope this helps.